those that don't know me, my name is Mike. I'm 28 years old. Me and Chris, we started this channel just to show you guys our passion, love for cars. All right, so what this project means to me, it means a lot to me. I've sacrificed a lot to get where I'm at. I hope to keep growing and trying to make it bigger than what I could have dreamed of. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do it with a lot of the support that we have. It's just amazing that people that back us up have helped out so much in our build, personal life, things that start out smaller. It's kind of becoming like a family, really tight and really helping out each other and really supportive. The reason why I chose the RX-8 is my buddy Ray. We were up here in the canyons. We just saw him fly by and just shoot a big old fireball, and I'm like, man, what is that? So I had to go over and talk to him, and then we just became friends, and he was talking to me about the rotaries. Started getting me into rotaries, and I was like, man, this thing's awesome. Me being hard-headed as I am, I like challenges on building power. Easy way out is, oh, let's throw a V8 in with a supercharger or twin turbos or whatever. I've always had a, thing about taking something that people say you can't do and do it. That's kind of like where I got into the RX-8. Back in the day, I had a Civic when I met Ray. I had a guy offer me $2,000 for like my whole engine swap on the little single cam Civic I had. Dude, like, I am not gonna pass up that offer. So I sold him the motor, swapped it in for him and everything, because I was like, dude, $2,000, I'll do the swap for you. And he actually gave me his stock motor out of the car so I can put it in my car and just drive a stock car again. And I was like, all right, cool. And then I took that money, went and put a down payment on an RX-8. One of the reasons why I chose Time Attack over anything else is push it to the limit sport. No holds barred, go as fast as you can with what you have. Yeah, there are rules and limitations that you have to try to work around, but it's that feeling of pushing the car to the edge for as long as the sessions are, which are about 15 to 20 minutes. That's what really got me. Pushing the car to the limits of what you have within the rules and really just going all out. That's how I've been since I was younger. I used to BMX race when I was 8 years old. If I wasn't first, I was pissed. I tried for years. I got #1 in our district over like thousands of people. That was a good accomplishment for me. So bringing that competitiveness to what I do with cars now, a lot of people say age comes with cage. I've gotten my battle scars and bruises and surgery, so it's time for a cage. Who or what inspired me into building cars? I'd have to say my grandpa. He used to have a 76 Silverado Chevy pickup truck. It was a 2500 3/4 ton. I'd see him out there wrenching on it, and so then he had a 64 Corvette Stingray that was a project. And then he also had a 29 pickup that had a custom chassis, open engine bay and everything, and I was like, dude, like, this is awesome. And I started getting into muscle cars. So that's kind of like where the whole mechanics and wrenching on cars started, was probably about when I was 8 or 9 years old. He gave me the socket to change the spark plug, and I was tightening it when I was supposed to be loosening it, and I actually stripped the plug inside the head, and he had to get it out, and I was surprised he didn't yell at me or anything. He just walked away and just came back later and pulled it out of the head. Yeah, I thought I was going to get a good yelling at for that one, at least. So my driving background involves a lot of tickets, like for Time Attack, I guess you'd say, or canyon driving. Started back when I was 18. My girlfriend at the time asked me to come out and see some guys driving up in the mountains, because her uncle used to come out to the canyons and look at the stars and have telescopes and stuff. And I was like, I don't care about that. I want to go see the cars. So then at the time I had a 74 Nova, and I'm in a canyon with a big boat that doesn't handle worth a damn. And I'm seeing all these guys just flying up the hill, and I'm like, man, I really want to get into that and, go talk to these guys. After that, I actually started coming up to the canyons and driving and talking to people, meeting them. I've been doing that for, now it's been 11 years up here. I've done Time Attack. We did a session about, 2 years back now? With the RX-8, full stock motor, just intake and exhaust, and I had my coilovers on it from the previous car. But other than that, the car was mostly stock, except cooling mods and just like basic stuff just to keep the car cool and functioning throughout the day. The couple guys that I met up here, they were actually starting a Time Attack team for Redline Time Attack, if you guys know anything about that, and back in the day. He had an S2000. The first year, it was a Kraftwerk supercharger, made like 444 on the dyno. I mean, it was quick for what it was. I mean, S2000s are really light, and you put a little bit of power into them, and it's like it wakes up the car quite a bit. The next year, we went to a turbocharged setup, and then we really cranked up the power on it, and we went to, I think we made 750 on 22 psi. And we weren't all that smart. We could have, done more with the block and trans and stuff. There was one night we dynoed the car and we blew up the diff on the dyno the night before our track day. So we stayed up all night, fixed the diff, got the car to the track, got the car on the track. When we were building the car, there was a crossbar where the turbo oil feed return goes back to the car, and it was rubbing on that, and it sliced it, and the car went down to 0 psi on oil pressure, and we blew the motor up. So we spent all night tearing that motor, or pulling that motor out, tearing it down, tearing down another stock block that we had, and just managing to put one back together for the race the next day. That was just, pretty much 2 days of no sleep. That's another thing that brought me into racing is, that commitment that everybody has as a team. That's when I picked up my buddy's EG Civic. At first, it was just a stock little single cam, maybe making 120 horsepower, if that. It had a D15B trans from Japan that had a Mugen LSD in it. So the real short gear ratio with the LSD really woke up that, 120 horsepower. But, I mean, when the car only weighed like 1,900 pounds, like that was pretty quick. Then I took the head off and I heard that the D16 Y7 heads were better because of, it raised the compression ratio. And then I had that ported and polished with the 3-way valve job and flat face valves to bring up more compression, and had it tuned, and I think it made like 170 after that. It was pretty quick for what it was. Inline 4 was, at the time, they were the ones that were helping me out with that. Especially Bubba from Do It Dyno. He really helped me out along with that build too. Then, driving that for a while, and then when I really wanted to start getting into the RX-8s, I was just happened to be working at a Dodge dealer down in Long Beach, Signal Hill. I met this guy, his name's Joe, which he was our Matco guy at the time. I found out that was Kyle Mohan's dad. I started talking about RX-8s and how I wanted to get in racing and stuff, and he's like, dude, you have to go down and talk to my son down at Monster Tricks. And I was like, all right, well, give it a shot. So I went down and I talked to Kyle, and then we started getting, really in depth with talking about suspension setups and doing road course and stuff like that. I didn't care about the power at the time. I didn't care about the weight or anything. I more cared about the handling and getting the handling set up. And so that way later on, when I put more power into the car, the suspension would be able to handle the power. I talked to Dave and Kyle from Mazda Tricks, and we figured that the Eibach R2s, which were double adjustable coilovers, were the way to go. I mean, yeah, they're pricey, but man, they are worth it at the end. Even now, I can go get them rebuilt, and they'll still be able to handle whatever I throw at them with this motor and this whole setup and everything. That's where I kind of got involved with Kyle Mohan and Louie down at DNA Garage, Natter, I built to Apex. I mean, those guys have been a major help in our builds. Alright, so the first time I drove I was 13, and my dad took me out to drive our 91 Civic Si. It was manual and everything. And my dad told me, he's like, if you know how to drive manual, you can drive anything. And I was like, all right, cool, because I didn't know what I was going to do for a career. He took me out to this industrial area. I had a lead foot, to say the least. Instead of, taking it up to like 3,000 or 4,000 RPMs, I was like all the way to redline, every gear, just, enjoying it. And my dad just told me, he's like, dude, you need to slow down. And that was a hard thing for me because I still haven't done that yet. What I'd tell somebody that's wanting to get into racing and tracking their car is go out find a track day. I mean, you can go to like Extreme Speed, but you got like Speed Ventures and VTech Club and all these other guys that run track days and stuff like that. You can go out, just take whatever you have out and just go have fun with it. And if you really like it and want to get serious with it, find some type of time attack like Global or NASA or any of those guys. Look at the rules and just read the rules, read them thoroughly, and see what class you would like to run or you have the budget for, and just really go for it. I mean, they do have really low stock car classes, everyday drivers. Enjoy it. Don't let all these crazy high budget race cars, put you down. Just go out and have fun.